Dear Patriots, before the news starts, please subscribe to our patriotic channel by clicking the subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up to this video. Don't forget to leave your opinion below in the comments section. Share the news on Facebook and Twitter so you friends see it. Thank you.
IT's going down. The Senate just sent W. Wasserman Shultz the worst news ever. The Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman, Chuck Grassley, ARIA, just requested that copies of immigration files for the 6 Pakistani IT staffers, among them being Imran Awan. According to the Daily Caller, Grassley is looking to get more information about Imran Awan and his wife along with the 2 brothers and close friends in the scandal. In light of the alleged illegal activity, the committee seeks to better understand Awan and his associates' immigration histories, Grassley said on August 4. Lieutenant Col Shafer already confirmed that their loyalties weren't with us. The Daily Caller has reported that the Pakistani IT staffers wired $283,000 from Congressional Federal Credit Union to 2 people in Pakistan. Share this everywhere to expose W. Wasserman Shultz. We need our Congress to do their job and stop resisting the president. We need them to start locking up the criminals. If people aren't held responsible, this country is going to shift from civil discourse to something far worse. CNN's April Ryan explains how SNL skit caused Trump and Bannons falling out. CNN contributor April Ryan claims she knows what caused President Trump and Steve Bannon's falling out. An SNL skit. When SNL did that skit with Steve Bannon as the president and at real Donald Trump in the small desk, that was the beginning of the end for their connect. The complete end is now here, tweeted Ryan. Of course, this is beyond ridiculous. The skit she is referring to features Bannon as the Grim Reaper telling Trump to go sit at his little desk while Bannon sat at a bigger desk, from February 2017. President Trump wrote an epic letter insulting Bannon for calling his son a traitor. Steve Bannon has nothing to do with me or my presidency. When he was fired, he not only lost his job, he lost his mind, wrote Trump. Steve was a staffer who worked for me after I had already won the nomination by defeating 17 candidates, often described as the most talented field ever assembled in the Republican Party, wrote Trump. Now that he is on his own, Steve is learning that winning isn't as easy as I make it look. Steve had very little to do with our historic victory, which was delivered by the forgotten men and women of this country. Yet Steve had everything to do with the loss of a Senate seat in Alabama held for more than 30 years by Republicans. Steve doesn't represent my base, he's only in it for himself, wrote Trump. Ben Carson just walked into Chicago and did the one thing Obama didn't want him to. Ben Carson stepped into Illinois today to recognize the fact that many citizens were forced to move from the West Calumet housing complex because of soil contamination below the complex. Carson said that it was very important to get residents out of harm's way and to make sure that the relocation happened in a good way. The sad part is that this is Obama's hometown. Why did it take Ben Carson to come in and finally start doing something about it? The West Calumet housing complex comprises 1/3 of the USS Leeds Superfund site in East Chicago. Residents living at the 1,000 property complex were told to leave their homes by the EPA. Carson went there to hear firsthand from the people in the region. Carson then didn't spend time focusing on the blame. He spent time trying to figure out the problems at hand. Share this if you love Ben Carson and are glad that he can fix all the problems Obama couldn't. Breaking: major Democratic congressman shows support for bombing Israel. We have seen huge amounts of anti-Semitism from the UN following the president's Jerusalem announcement. However, this pales in comparison to American Democratic Congressman Keith Ellison. Ellison is accepting funding from anti-Israel American Muslims for Palestine leader Taher Herzl. Israelis have to be bombed, they are a threat to the legitimacy of Palestine, and it is wrong to maintain the State of Israel. It is an illegitimate creation born from colonialism and racism, said Hertzler. This isn't Ellison's first offense. Tucker Carlson recently called out the congressman for all the horrible things he's done. Back in 1989, Ellison wrote that the Constitution existed only for white people. He referred to it as their Constitution, calling it the best evidence of a white racist conspiracy to subjugate other peoples. That's the Constitution of the United States, said Carlson. Ellison has spoken favorably, meanwhile, of cop killer Assata Shaker. He said he was praying that Fidel Castro's communist regime in Cuba would not be forced to extradite her back to the United States. As a law student at the University of Minnesota, Ellison wrote a column calling for the creation of a separate black ethnostate. This is the man that is now second in command of the entire Democratic Party. Now that ought to bother Republicans and independents, said Carlson. It should terrify Democrats. Most voters don't support cop killing, racial separatism, political violence, abolishing freedom of speech, and they tend to flee from politicians and parties that do support those things, he said. Fire and fury. Trump just threatened North Korea with something the world has never seen. North Korea must have really thought they were hot SHT today when the report leaked that they have miniaturized nukes. Hell, it even led Kim to make a promise to attack America. Bad move. President Trump just hit back hard, releasing a video of him making a promise to North Korea that will leave them in ashes. President Trump threatened fire, fury, and power the likes of which the world has never seen. The president's official statement to the media projected the strength and resilience we voted on Trump for in the first place. North Korea best not make any more threats to the United States. They will be met with fire and fury like the world has never seen. He has been very threatening, beyond a normal statement. And, as I said, they will be met with fire, fury, and frankly power the likes of which this world has never seen before. Thank you. What North Korea is doing right now is both wrong and dangerous. They are threatening to nuke our West Coast cities. This is no minor threat. We have tried negotiations, we have tried sanctions. Hell, we tried it all. Now is the time for action. They need to either stand down or watch as their military burns to ashes and their castles crumble to dust. Share this out if you think America will beat North Korea. Geraldo Rivera crushes MSNBC for saying Trump doesn't have the mental fitness for office. The Geraldo Rivera called liberals news anchors who are spending their days questioning President Trump's mental health. It is a slander, it is low down and dirty. It is absolutely false. This man is as lucid and as intelligent and as intellectually in charge of himself as he has ever been, said Rivera in response. I heard a commentator on MSNBC yesterday say as a scientific medical fact that there is no doubt that the president emotionally and intellectually has deteriorated from his days as celebrity apprentice, said Rivera. Not only have I known him for 4 decades, I spent an hour with him as you'll recall coming back from Puerto Rico on Air Force One, said Rivera. Donald Trump has jump-started the economy in a way that is so impressive that everybody is cheering. There is not a person watching right now who owns a single share of stock who isn't better off today than they were the day before President Trump took office, he said. Sarah Huckabee Sanders responded in a similar way to liberals questioning his mental fitness. It's disgraceful and laughable. If he was unfit, he probably wouldn't be sitting there and wouldn't have defeated the most qualified group of candidates the Republican Party has ever seen. This is an incredibly strong and good leader. That's why we've had such a successful in 2017 and why we're going to continue to do great things as we move forward in this administration, said Sanders. Scarborough accuses Trump of not being able to read. Trump's response is brilliant. MSNBC's Joe Scarborough wrote an article for the Washington Post called I Asked Trump a Blunt Question, Do you read? While Scarborough might think he was being clever, the answer is obvious. Of course Trump can read. We read his writings on Twitter all the time, not to mention that he is a Harvard graduate. plus the President of the United States. Mika Brzezinski and I had a tense meeting with Trump following what I considered to be a bumbling debate performance in September 2015. I asked the candidate a blunt question. "Can you read?" wrote Scarborough. According to him, there was an awkward silence. "I'm serious, Donald. Do you read?" I continued. "If someone wrote you a one-page paper on a policy, could you read it?" Taken aback, Trump quietly responded that he could while holding up a Bible given to him by his mother. He then joked that he read it all the time, said Scarborough. Sounds like a good answer to me. Even if Scarborough thinks reading the Bible is a joke. I am apparently not the only one who has questioned the president's ability to focus on the written word. Trump didn't read, Wolf writes, said Scarborough in reference to the new book Fire and Fury. He didn't really even skim. If it was print, it might as well not exist. Some believe that for all practical purposes he was no more than semi-literate. Others concluded that he didn't read because he didn't have to. He was post-literate, total television, claims Scarborough.